This episode of FilmRiot is brought to you by Domain.com. Welcome to FilmRiot Mondays.
You're wearing the same shirt again.
As what?
The last 2 weeks.
From?
On Mondays. How are you managing to do that?
You ever seen Ernest?
Yeah.
First question, tips on shooting in places that are high traffic like train stations or platforms. For something like that, I've always just gone handheld, minimal crew, just the actors, probably no audio, just roll an MOS. And if we are doing audio, do something like Lav and then just ADR later if you have to, just so you can get in and out of there without any hassle whatsoever. And then for the camera, try to be smart with the type of camera you choose. If you don't have a choice, you just have the camera you have. But if you can rent something, go with something really small like a pocket cinema camera or a Sony a7S, which has fantastic quality, but is super small and not intrusive at all. Jump in there, get what you need to get, and then get out of there. Audio is always gonna be an issue. If you have permission to be there and you can lock down and all that, that's great, then the gear isn't a problem, but audio will always be an issue. And more often than not, you're going to have to ADR if you're not willing to live with all that background noise, because you can't really take that out in post. And obviously, if you're going anywhere high traffic, especially somewhere that's like a train station or an airport of any kind, obviously that could lead to a lot of trouble. You want to make sure you're getting permission for that for sure. But by doing a small footprint, like going handheld with a small camera and staying non-intrusive, you're usually going to get yeses a lot easier that way. Just keep in mind, safety always comes first for your cast and crew. Don't be stupid for any project. How difficult is it for a foreigner to try out into Hollywood or even indie stuff in the USA? Any tips for it? I think it's the same thing with anyone. It's all about talent and oftentimes even who you know, even though the whole who you know thing is shrinking by the day thanks to the internet. The advice I give to anyone, regardless if it's acting, directing, cinematography, editing, whatever it is start to make some work for yourself that you can put online to show for yourself and start sending around to people so people can see what kind of caliber of talent and creativity you have. If you're a director, direct something. If you're an editor, edit something and put it up. An actor, do a monologue or a scene with someone and put that up. People want to see what you can actually do. The days of the on paper, CV or whatever are gone. I don't care on paper what it says you can do. I want to see what you can actually do to be able to judge the level of talent you have. So I would definitely say just start doing things, and whatever it is you want to do, get it online, start passing it around to whoever you can. What's up, Rhino? Now that your little one has burst onto the scene, what type, if any, camera do you use to record home movies? My iPhone, actually. It's always in my pocket, it's always available, and it's good quality. I am no respecter of gear. I've said this all the time, but sometimes people think I am because of the type of cameras that we test. I just don't care. If it captures and it looks decent, you can make it work. And for me, the iPhone is perfect. It's small, it's not intrusive, and I always have it. So that is pretty much has turned into my home video camera. Have you ever had a client ask for something that just couldn't be done? How did you handle the situation? If it was something that actually could not be done, I would just tell them it couldn't be done. I mean, there's not much else that you can do. I haven't really come across that problem myself. There's been things that I couldn't myself pull off, but then I told them for X amount of extra budget, we could bring someone in to do what it is they were looking to do. And usually at that point, they say never mind because they don't want to spend more money, or you just figure out how to make it happen. On the lower scale, it's usually people who don't do this sort of thing, so they don't know what goes into it. They don't know how much it costs. They think $2,000 is plenty to do something that would usually cost $200,000. So you got to keep that in mind, and always, increase the budget if you have to, and usually that'll make them not want to do it anymore. What do you think of the new Spielberg movie trailer? I thought it was amazing. The cinematography looked glorious. I love me some Spielberg, and I'm really excited to see this one for sure. I love the style of it too. Just everything about it made my little heart happy. Last question, do you think the filmmaking process is going to become cheaper in the near future with the rise of indie films? If you're talking about Hollywood films, no, it's always been this way. You have the super indies all the way up to the big blockbuster films. There was a rise of indie films forever ago, probably like 70s, maybe even before that. I don't really know. I'm not a film historian, but indie film has been around for a really long time. So that's never going to alter the way Hollywood does business. If their $200 million movies keep returning $1 billion freaking dollars, that's what they're going to keep doing. If you're talking about the way that we all do things and the type of gear that, us really low budget, no budget filmmakers do things, then yeah, I think the barrier to entry will continue to drop and you'll get really great quality at even lesser and lesser prices. I mean, you can get for like $1,500 a camera that shoots really good 4K right now. A couple years ago, that was entirely unheard of, and a big, yeah, right, that would never happen, and here we are, now we have it. I mean, you have 4K on iPhones now, for God's sake. So yeah, I think technology will keep advancing to make everything a lot more simple to get your hands on gear, but that doesn't necessarily bring down the cost of someone's day rate, the cost of a location, insurance, and everything else that goes into the filmmaking process. So I guess it just depends on what the question is actually asking. If you're a budding filmmaker, entrepreneur, or innovator, domain.com is the place to go when you get that next great idea. I know you've probably heard the list of available domain extensions is growing, but you now have the opportunity to name your site and build your brand in ways that were never before possible. Choose from a growing list of over 400 plus domain name extensions like .com, .org, .design, and .club. And to show you some love, they're giving you 25% off their already affordable prices with their domain names, web hosting, and email when you use the coupon code FilmRiot at domain.com's checkout. So when you think domain names, think domain.com. So that's it for today, which means it's time for my suggestion of the week. This one is called The Shaman. It is a sci-fi short film with just insane production value. You can find it right here. It's about 17 minutes long, so longer than the normal short film, but totally worth it. Very cool short. So check that out. And until next time, don't forget to write, shoot, edit, repeat.